Hey, good morning, family. Thank you for being here. Nathan Ivy behind the mic, but as always, ahead of the curve. Please take a moment to like and in particular share today's show. I'll say it again. When you share the show, more people see it. It means everything. Let's spread the gospel of flow this morning. Good morning to you. Now, to kick things off, and I'm planning to talk about numerous things, but I want to talk about in the first hour, I want to bring this story to your attention. It's the story of Diamond Ford. This story is coming from Florida. Black woman, and it's very, very similar to the Breonna Taylor case. You may or may not have heard about this. Black woman at home late at night. She hears somebody breaking into her home. She goes into self-defense mode. Turns out it's law enforcement. She's claiming that it was self-defense and they never identified themselves. And as I understand it, she has now been charged and is in jail as we speak. Somebody got more up-to-date information than I do, please share it. But she's claiming self-defense. There's actually a 911 audio call that we'll listen to this morning, so stick around. You want to hear this. Oh, yeah, family. Yet another example of why we need to end no-knock warrants in this country, because it puts people's lives in jeopardy. And on this show, I've talked to a member of law enforcement who he himself has served no-knock warrants. And he says the same thing. Also, the jury is in. The judge has spoken. Elections have consequences. And it's official now that the only black Republican, well, really, there's two. But in terms of party affiliation, the only black Republican on the city of Cincinnati council has now been suspended and replaced. That's right. We know him as Pastor X. Some of you might know him as the polyamorous Jeff Pastor. He has been replaced. I'll tell you who he was replaced by and why I have a problem with it. Got a big problem with it. We'll talk about that and much more, family. So please buckle up, get ready. This is the last honest place in America. Trigger warning. You will probably hear something that will trigger you. And when you do, here's the number, 513-873-7134. Please like and share today's show. Again, please like and share today's show. When you share the show, quite frankly, more people see it. I want to spread the gospel of flow this morning. And as always, to say today's show is brought to you by Send Digital Media. Their mission is simple: amplify black voices. And as we grow and expand, I'm going to make another request. We're looking for more people to join this mission. I'll tell you all about it when we get the show started. I'm planning on starting the show in about 90 seconds. I want to give you a second to like and in particular share today's show. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Choppers. Good morning, Team and I. Good morning to my patrons. It's a beautiful day, the beginning of a whole new month. What's going to happen? This is the last month of 2020. What in the hell is going to happen within the next 30 days, 31 days? We'll find out together, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll get started in 90 seconds.
Ivy Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivy Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my gut, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, for the feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Any up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty, talk about old. I'm on they now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. It's trash now, I'm a spaz out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the skies the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies. I cannot disguise the truth. I've been duck dog, getting with my new merch, color duck sauce on the new couch with my Chucks on. Get the on with that hate. I'm big cool on the small chat, cause I know now that I'm all that. Got a Hawkeye on the ball cat, get the out of my face.
Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't.
All right, good morning, everybody. Let's get the show started, shall we? Good morning, good morning, good morning. 513-873-7134. There it is. That is my number. Good morning to you. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, feel free as always. Yeah, now we looking right. Good morning to you. Let's put the cam up, everybody. Hey, what's going on? Yeah. Great to be with you again, as always. Yeah. It's beautiful outside, isn't it? You know, children, man, oh my God. Whew, what an incredible responsibility. They can also bring so much joy to your life. They bring, you know, especially the little ones, like 5, 6 years old. That is such an amazing age. Children are so sweet at that age because everything is so new to them. So you get a chance to like enjoy life all over again. Yeah, I spilled a little something here for me. It'll dry up. You get a chance to experience life all over again, right? It's just amazing. My son woke up early. He's an early riser, I guess, because he can hear me moving through the house. And I'm like, hey, son, you know, it snowed last night, right? All yesterday, he wants to make snowballs. I'm like, son, there's not enough snowball. There's not enough snow out there to make a ball out of it. Yes, it is. There's no accumulation whatsoever. Yes, it is. He's running outside. He wants to go outside and play. And I'm thinking, I don't want to go outside and play. But it's just so much joy because they're so wide-eyed about the world. You know what I'm saying? Can you feel me on that? 5, 4, those young ages, they're so sweet. Then they grow up and become teenagers and want to throw everything you taught them back in your face. But it's the circle of life. We all go through it. Good morning to you. How are you? We made it. Let's get straight into it, shall we? I want to talk about the case of Diamond Ford. You may or may not have heard about this case. You may or may not have heard about the case of Diamond Ford, black woman who shot a police officer who didn't identify himself. She feels that the 911 call that I'm going to play for you here in a second should prove her innocence. And again, I'm 1,000 miles away, but after listening to the call and then being a black person and remembering Breonna Taylor, I tend to lean toward her. If you remember in the Breonna Taylor case, I mean, to me, it's straight up racist to believe that a black man is laying in a bed, Netflix and chilling. He's minding his own business. He hears the police identify themselves, and then he decides to fire a weapon at the police. I don't know any black people that would do that. And I'm a black man. To believe that this brother actually did that is racist as hell. It's right up there with Believing the Nonsense and Birth of a Nation. Probably one of the most racist movies I've ever constructed or conceived or put together, which was actually first screened at the White House, if you can believe that, which I'm sure you can. And yes, it wasn't Donald Trump. Or should I say, no, it wasn't Donald Trump. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that black people just chilling, going about their day, working, watch TV, eating popcorn, and they hear the police knock on the door. Hey, it's the police. Oh, them damn police. And they just start shooting at the police officers. I don't believe that one bit. I don't know any black people like that. Do you? I don't know anybody like that. That's not my mentality. It's not the mentality of anybody that I know, anybody that I rock with. To me, it just seems very racist to believe something like that. That's just my opinion about it. You might feel differently, and that's okay. You can feel differently on it. We can always agree to disagree. Nothing wrong with that. So let me give you the story about Diamond Ford. So Diamond Ford, 28 years old. Is our image up on the screen here? Yeah, let me put it back up here. Diamond Ford, 28 years old, is chilling. She's at home with her fiance, a man by the name of Anthony Gant. They were sleeping when they were both awakened by the sound of shattering glass. She grabbed her weapon and shot her weapon through the window in what she claims is self-defense and struck an officer. And she claims that only after she shot him did the sheriff deputies who were executing a high-risk no-knock warrant, only after she shot him did they say, hey, it's the sheriff's deputies. She says that she thought somebody was breaking into her house trying to rob her. And again, to me, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. What man, woman, or child, black, white, or whatever thing, but especially black in this country, is going to fire a weapon at police that identify themselves? That's a great way of changing the arc of your life. That's a great way of changing the arc of the rest of the next 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4 years. You in and out of court. That's not, if you make it to court, quite frankly, if you make it to court. I believe the story. I believe her. I just don't believe that anybody in their right mind, and I know it's a lot of folks that think that all black people are crazy, but I don't think any black man, woman, or child in their right mind is going to fire at police who've identified themselves. I resist that, and I'll continue to resist that for various reasons. We got to resist this. We can't take this image on the black family. That's a threat to each and every one of us. If there's some kind of perception out there that black folks are just firing at police officers once they identify themselves. There are people out there that want to put that around our necks. They want to label us as that. That serves their purposes, political purposes, to label black people. This is why I resist the whole anti-snitching thing. Nobody works with the police more in this community than black people. Nobody calls 911 more than black people. Nobody gives tips to police officers and law enforcement more than black folks. That's the unwritten story, in my opinion. But they try to run us down with this whole anti-snitching. That's why we can't solve the murders. It's your fault. Bro. No. You better get Inspector Gadget on the case. You better call Columbo. You better get better investigators. Don't put that on us. No, that's not true at all. That's why we can't solve the murders that happen in the black community. Y'all better get your game up. When it comes to black folks, this country loves to blame black folks for our condition as if there's no other factors whatsoever. I ain't with it. We can't handle that. No, we ain't taking that one. So again, Diamond Ford sleeping at home with her fiance. Sounds just like Breonna Taylor, doesn't it? They get awakened by the sound of shattering glass. Somebody's breaking into her home. She grabs a firearm, shoots through the window, and hits an officer. Now, I'm happy to report that the officer had body armor on and survived. If not, could have been bad. Could have been bad. Could be a whole nother level right now. Of course, she and her fiance were arrested. I know Benjamin Crump has picked up on this story as well. Now, she called 911, and I got the audio clip for you. I want to play it for you real quick. You got to hear this. She called 911 and to me, I listened to it 3 times. And to me, I think she sounds authentic. You might hear differently. I want to play this for you. You tell me what you think. To me, she sounds authentic. She sounds authentically scared out of her mind at first, as anybody would be, as you might be. So I want to play this 911 call for you. Then I want you to tell me what you think. What do you hear?
Jacksonville 911. What's the address of your emergency?
911 72 32 Rutledge Christian Drive.
Hold on, ma'am. Ma'am, you said 7232. What's the name of the street? Ma'am? Ma'am? Give me the name of the street.
72. Please, 7232 Rutledge.
Rutledge? What's happening?
Someone shooting somebody.
You said Rutland Pearson? Rutledge Pearson Drive? Ma'am, I've already sent the call. I need to get more information. I've already sent the call.
Oh, God, bro. You need to
7232 Rutledge Pearson Drive, correct?
Yes.
You know who's shooting?
Oh, wait. What? Wait, that's the sheriff's office. Okay, hey, hold on, wait. Hold on, whoa. Hello, wait. What? Nothing. Wait, here. I'm opening the door. You got the wrong house.
Okay, so if you just tuned in, that is a clip of the 911 call that a black female named Diamond Ford made. She was at home. If you're just tuning in, she was at home, and she felt like somebody was breaking into her home. She was asleep next to her male friend, and they were both arrested and charged with shooting a police officer. She fired a shot through the window, shot the police officer, I believe, in the torso area. Happy to report that he survived. With no very serious no very serious injuries that has been reported to this point. Can't say if it's long-standing or not because he had on body armor. Shout out to body armor. And now she's claiming that this 911 tape that we're listening to proves her innocence. And I want to just back it up here because the rest of the tape, or should I say the clip, is just like the background information, background sort of, I won't call it noise, but it's really hard to discern everything that's going on. But I want to go back to the initial call because to me, she sounds like Freddy Krueger and Jason are outside. She couldn't even get her breath. To me, she couldn't even she couldn't even get it out. She was so scared. You ever been that scared before? I can imagine. I can imagine. That she was terrified, thinking somebody's breaking into her home. These days, living in the last days of common sense, you don't know what they're gonna do. They might try to sell you into antebellum slavery, or you might end up in some foreign country somewhere as a sex slave, or cut you in small pieces slowly. You never know. So she is justifiably scared out of her mind. You can kind of hear it there in the call. I want to play it again because my question for you is, and again, she, through her lawyer, because she's incarcerated right now, no bond was set, as I understand it. And this reminds me of the Breonna Taylor case. And again, these no-knock warrants seem to be very, very dangerous for two people, for two everybody, really, for the individuals that they're actually serving a warrant on, because sometimes officers get it wrong. They might have bad information, or, you know, you got a Gilligan on the team. You might have a Gilligan on the team. Oh, that's an 8. I thought it was a 5, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, that's a 9. I thought it was a 6. You know, what the hell is this? Uno, get it right. Gilligan. So you never know. People make human error and all that kind of stuff. People make mistakes and things like that. And then also the officers. When you go back to Breonna Taylor right now, one of those officers that was serving the high-risk warrant is suing the brother, what was his name, Walker, who was involved with it. Breonna Taylor's male friend who was in the house with her. The officer's now suing him because he got shot in the leg. Yeah, it seems like a dangerous gambit. And I know there was some conversation about doing something here in the city of Cincinnati. And to me, it's a no-brainer. You know, why would we wait until there's like some oops, my bad moment, or somebody's dead, or a Gilligan makes a mistake, or they served the warrant on the wrong house, or, you know, you serve the warrant on the house, it's the wrong house, the people have firearms, a law officer gets shot or killed. I mean, why would we wait? Why would we wait? You know, do the right thing. But I want to play this for you again. Tell me what you hear.
Address of your emergency?
911 72 32 Rutledge Pearson Drive.
Hold on, ma'am. Ma'am, you said 7232. What's the name of the street? Ma'am? Ma'am? Give me the name of the street.
72. Please, 7232 Rutledge.
Rutledge? What's happening?
Someone's shooting somebody.
You said Rutland Pearson? Rutledge Pearson Drive? Ma'am, I've already sent the call. I need to get more information. I've already sent the call.
Oh, God, bro. You finna die.
7232 Rutledge Pearson Drive, correct?
Yeah.
Do you know who's shooting?
Oh, wait. What? Wait, that's the sheriff's office. Okay, hey, hold on, wait. Hold on, whoa. Hello, wait. What? Nothing. Wait, I'm opening the door. You got the wrong house.
To me, she sounds believable. I'm sorry. You know, we there might be people, again, I haven't read the comments yet. There might be people like, nah, she's playing a role, but who plays the role like that? What black folks out here playing with police? I don't know any black people that play with police. All the black folks I know, which are all peaceful, tax-paying, law-abiding citizens, they don't want to F with the police at all. They don't want to talk to you. Because, you know, things happen when black people are around police officers. It tend to always go bad for black people. Most of the black folks, including myself, I know a lot of officers on a personal tip. On an official capacity, unless I'm calling you, even when I'm calling you as a black man in America, even when I'm calling you, I'm sensitive that the tables might be turned on me and I end up being a suspect. Seriously. That's the reality of most black folks, non-white folks in this country. We don't even want to call the police when we need to call the police. Because when non-white folks were involved, the tables might be turned on you like, you know what? Do you have any warrants? Do I have any warrants? I called you because somebody broke into my house. Now you asking me if I got warrants? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You cannot. I speak facts. I breathe hot fire this morning. It's the truth. So I believe that, sister. I think she was scared. I couldn't get it. You know, it seems like the 911 dispatch officer or operator was getting a little bit, losing a little bit of patience because he wasn't getting information fast enough so he could send people to her exact location. I get it. He's trying to do his job, but she was scared. And then she's like, hold on, wait, this the sheriff's office? Like, so what's the opposite? So are there people out there that believe that, in fact, she's got some grudge against just all the police? She don't even know who's outside. It's just the police. So she going to fire the police and then think quickly like, oh, yeah, let me call 911 to cover my tracks. That seems like way too much in the moment to me. And you'll probably hear more and more about this. We heard everything about Breonna Taylor. This case is obviously being reported. That's how I picked up on it. But it's not being like largely reported, probably because there's no deaths involved. But in terms of the substance of what happened, it reminds me of Breonna Taylor, 100%. It reminds me of Breonna Taylor, 100%. What do you think? What do you think? She's saying through her lawyer, because Diamond Ford, the woman you can see right here in today's cover art, is actually incarcerated right now. But she's saying through her lawyer that she basically did nothing wrong. It was self-defense. And again, just logically speaking, what's the point in getting a no-knock warrant and then you show up and you knock? What's the point in that? It just seems counterintuitive. You go through the process of getting a no-knock warrant so you don't have to knock because you want to have the element of surprise on your hand if you're law enforcement because you're looking at a high-risk target. And then you get to the door and you knock. Well, if that was the case, then why'd you go get a no-knock warrant? I said the same thing and feel the same about Breonna Taylor. These officers go through all the legal whatever to get a no-knock warrant because they're serving what they think is a high-risk warrant and they want the element of surprise. And then they get to the door and they knock. Well, if you're going to knock, why'd you go get a no-knock warrant? It doesn't make any sense. You know, police should not operate like gangs. Just saying, they should operate like law enforcement, which means that you knock and you let people know what's going on. And to me, it's a safety issue for everybody involved, like for law enforcement as well, because you don't know how people are going to react. There's a lot of law-abiding citizens out there that is strapped up these days. And I mean strapped up, ready for war out here. Like G.I. Joe, Cobra Commanders at the door. Who is that? Deathstroke. They ready for it. I was just reading an article in CDD Magazine last week about how the FBI and law enforcement is reporting that since COVID-19, in just the state of Ohio, there's been like 800,000 requests for a gun. Like people in the state of Ohio is not playing no games. I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know if we are living in the last biblical days. I don't know that. People have been talking about we're living in the last biblical days for 2,000 fucking years. I do know that we're living in the last days of common sense, title of my forthcoming book. I do know that. I do know that we're getting a window into what will happen when we get to the last biblical days. We already know what's going to happen. 30 to 40% of the population won't believe the end is coming. They'll be fighting with the other 60 to 70% about what we should do. Mofos is going to run straight to get their guns. I asked this question many years ago. Some people thought that it was a dumb question, but, you know, you talk sense to a fool, they'll call you foolish. God or guns, which offers more protection? Well, we're seeing guns. Some of the most God-fearing people, they believe in God, they strap the F up, homie. Miss me with that Jesus. Oh, Jesus going to protect me. Sure he will. Let me get that gun. Let me get that Glock. God or guns, which offers more protection? Well, we're seeing during COVID-19, guns. Some of the most God-fearing people in the world is strapped the F up. They is strapped up, locked and loaded. Locked and loaded, even in the state of Ohio. So again, it goes back to what I said. I mean, police knock on the door, don't knock on the door, breaking through glass, breaking windows. People is on high alert these days. You can't do that. People are on high alert. They on Cobra Commander alert. It's Thano watch, looking for interdimensional portals. People is on high alert, extra sensitive about their safety. We reading these news articles about all these strange things happening. We don't know our neighbors the way we used to. We dealing with all of the inner feelings and stuff in our own brains because we shut in with COVID. We can't dance. Damn foot loose. And then you going to just break the glass talking about and not announce yourself. That's a good way to get a face full of lead. That's not a good thing. We need to protect our law enforcement, man, by ending these no-knock warrants. To me, it's just as much about protecting citizens as it is protecting members of law enforcement who they don't know what they're walking into. You don't know what you're walking into these days. You're walking into somebody's house. You don't have no idea what you're walking into. Tell me I'm wrong. What do you think? 513-873-7134, family. I want to get your thoughts about it. 513-873-7134. I'm going to play the audio clip for you one more time just to make sure everybody hears it. You got a lot of folks who might just be coming in, and maybe you want to hear it a couple times to process it. To me, I already made my decision on it. I believe this sister just like I believed Mr. Walker, the male friend of Breonna Taylor. I don't believe no black man in his right mind is firing at police that's knocking at their door who've identified themselves. That's a no-win situation. That is a no-win situation right there. And if you notice that brother in Breonna Taylor's case, they initially charged him, then they dropped the charges. Now, where they do that at? Where in America do black men shoot at police officers and they're wrong and they don't get charged? Hell, you get charged even when you're right in this country. Where they do that at? Nowhere. So I'm going to play this for you one more time and you tell me what you think. I'm not going to play the entirety of it because the entirety of it is about 4 minutes and 32 seconds long. It's way too long. I don't want to play all of it, but I do want to play enough at the very beginning. So what you're going to hear is a 911 call of Diamonds Ford. Diamonds Ford, black female. She was at home with her male friend, chilling, sleeping, and she hears glass shattering as if somebody broke into her home. So what does she do? She picks up the strap, shoots to defend herself. And she claims that after she fired, that's when the Jacksonville Sheriff's SWAT team identified themselves. Unbeknownst to her, they were serving a high-risk warrant at her home. She is using this 911 call as her primary defense, saying, listen to the call. I didn't know. She's in jail right now, as I understand it. And to me, this case is very similar to Breonna Taylor. We spend so much time on Breonna Taylor that it just makes sense to me that we follow similar cases. Okay, so I'm going to play this for you. You listen to it, then I'm going to go to your comments. You tell me, do you agree? Do you believe her? Do you believe that she had no idea? Am I missing something? I like to know. You tell me.
Jacksonville 911, what's the address of your emergency?
911, 72. 7232 Rutledge, Pearson Drive.
Hold on, ma'am. Ma'am, you said 7232. What's the name of the street? Ma'am? Ma'am? Give me the name of the street.
72. Please, 7232 Rutledge.
Rutledge? What's happening?
Someone's shooting. Somebody, please.
You said Rutledge Pearson Drive? Ma'am, I've already sent the call. I need to get more information. I've already sent the call.
Oh, God, bro. You're gonna die.
7232 Rutledge Pearson Drive, correct?
Yes.
Do you know who's shooting?
Oh, wait. What? Wait, that's the sheriff's office. Okay, hey, hold on, wait. Hold on, whoa. Hello, wait. What? Nothing. Wait, here. I'm opening the door. You got the wrong house.
All right, so I'll end it right there. So what do you think? What do you think? 513-873-7134. Every time I hear it, the more convinced I get. She's like, oh, what? Wait a minute. That's the sheriff's department? Like, wait, ho. Y'all got the wrong house. See, her initial reaction is, I ain't doing nothing wrong. Got the wrong house. Like, again, believe it, a newsflash to America. Not every black person in America is up to some criminal activity, cooking up crack in the backyard, or, I don't know, making bootleg DVDs or whatever you think black folks is doing. Believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe because the media has conditioned you to believe that all the crimes in America are committed by black folks. Meanwhile, these white collar criminals are robbing people blind out here, stealing their whole life savings. I'm just saying, out here impersonating black businesses. Oh, yeah, we're a minority black-owned business. Sure it is. Let me get those city contracts. Huh? Yeah, I said it. Pamela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Pamela. Ray writes, Grand Risings all. Good morning to you, Ray. Tracy writes, hi. Cruther writes, Steelers. Did I miss something? You damn Steeler fans are incorrigible. Those some damn Steelers. Did they play yesterday? Again, I'm so disconnected from the NFL right now. Gizzy Gillespie writes, want the opening scene in Straight Outta Compton and No Knock Warrant. Anyway, alt middle is for the children. I don't remember. Gizzy. I'll rely on your memory on that one. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Today is my last day of my current job. I started UC Hospital in 2 weeks. Yay! Oh, man. That is a wonderful time. We need to have a word for that time. That time between jobs. You got that new opportunity coming up and you're leaving that old opportunity, especially when it's paid. Oh, my God. What a glorious feeling. That is a great feeling. When you got that new job lined up, you know what I'm saying? Something new. Something better. You making more, not to get in your bill, you making more money? Ooh-wee, that's a great feeling. Sorry, busters, I'm out of here. You got that new opportunity coming, ain't nothing better. That's a great feeling. Especially when it's paid. You ain't got to worry about no bills. You basically chilling for 2 weeks. Little vacay between two jobs. Congratulations to you, Ashley. I wish you all the best. I know you'll be successful. That is great. That's a great feeling right there. Tell me I'm wrong. Bye, busters. I'm out of here. I'm leaving this shack, this dump, right? Not to say this is how you feel, Ashley, but sometimes when you're leaving one job to another, you kind of have those feelings like, I'm out of this dump. On to my new thing, right? Especially when it's paid. Oh, my God. These are going to be 2 great weeks for you, Ashley. I can already feel it for you. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. It's the last month of 2020. Yes, it is. What do y'all predict is going to happen? Earthquake, flood, tsunami? The old gods are going to dig their way from the center of the earth and take over the surface dwellers? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? 2020, man. 2020 has been a hell of a year. I almost died in 2020. That's how I'm going to remember. 2020, I'm going to remember for 2 things. I almost died in 2020 and COVID-19. We don't even have to have a conversation about the biggest story of 2020. I'm still going to do like the biggest story, like looking back. I've been working on it actually for weeks now. It's going to be a lot of fun on the show, looking back over the biggest stories. The biggest story, of course, is COVID-19. No doubt about it. It ain't even close. But so many amazing things have happened in 2020. Some may be on your radar screen and some may not be. I'm not sure when I may do that show. It's going to be a series of shows. It won't just be one show. It might be the entire week. And I might break it down in terms of people, politics, pleasure, culture, things like that. I'm looking forward to it. But 2020 has been amazing. What's going to happen? Is Black Jesus coming back? What's going to happen this last month? Nothing? Let's take an early phone call, shall we? Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Mr. Ivy, I listened to the tape and the audio, and I hope that Brother Forte has the time to call in today to comment on this audio, because what I heard, Mr. Ivy, her boyfriend in the background is saying, "We gonna die," right? And then there was about maybe 10 seconds, and then you could hear the loudspeaker coming from the police department, and then her whole demeanor changed. I mean, almost like that. It changed from that panicked woman to like she knew, oh, wow, hey, oh, okay, it's the police. And everything became cool when she found out it was the police, but when she thought it was a burglar, she was all nervous and panicked. Now, was that because she had shot through the window? Because obviously they had not breached the door. They weren't inside her apartment. So she shot someone on the outside, which again, I don't know the state and what the laws are as far as the castle doctrine, protect your castle. So, and then this is what else I heard on the tape. She made the 911 call after she shot. Now that's where it kind of gets kind of sketchy, because on my limited law enforcement experience when I was in the military police, when you have someone on the inside start shooting out, all the officers pull back and they set up a perimeter, because now they know that there's someone inside, and not only are they there, they're shooting at the police officers. So that kind of explains that little time in between from when she shot and the police officers pulled back, and then they got on the loudspeaker and started talking to her or whoever they thought was inside the apartment. And then she picks up the phone and makes the call. And then that's when her boyfriend says, "Oh, we gonna die." Because that's what I heard. I could be wrong, but it's just not enough information here, Mr. Ivy. And I don't think this is like Breonna Taylor, because for one, Breonna Taylor did not shoot the police officer. Her boyfriend did. And again, it's a no-knock, high-risk warrant, which, again, we don't know the details behind that either. So all I'm saying, Mr. Ivy, this, just going by the 911 call as her defense, it just sounds kind of sketchy. And again, I hope Brother Forte or some other active law enforcement person from this area, because it's got to be someone that's from this area and they know the laws that pertain to this jurisdiction. So that's just my take, Mr. Ivy. That's all I really got. And again, I'm not picking sides. All I'm saying is, I don't think this is Breonna Taylor, because for one, the lady is still alive. Her boyfriend is still alive. And two, she makes the 911 call. Breonna Taylor never made a 911 call. So that's just my take. Thanks for taking my call, Mr. Ivy. And keep up the good work. Your show is blowing up. I see you liked one of my videos I sent you about how to navigate the crazy algorithm world of YouTube. But thanks for taking my call. Drop Squad 52. Dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
Let's drop right there. Appreciate the call. Well, listen, we can always agree, disagree. To me, with those two, I think minor differences to the side, I think it's exactly like Breonna Taylor. You got black folks involved. You got law enforcement involved. It's a no-knock warrant involved. It was a male and female at home late in the night. They were sleeping, awoken by what they thought was a burglar that turned out to be law enforcement officials exercising a high-risk no-knock warrant. There was a shot fired from one inside to the outside. An officer was struck, and then people went to jail. So aside from, I think, the fact that no one died, of course, Breonna Taylor died, and then who made the call and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the two cases of the Breonna Taylor case and the Diamonds Ford case, which is what we've been talking about since we kicked off the show this morning. Appreciate the call, though. You said it sounds kind of fishy. Not to me. I mean, because what's the alternative? I mean, the alternative is to believe that Diamonds Ford knew that it was law enforcement and decided to fire on law enforcement knowingly. I just find that very hard to believe. I find it very hard to believe. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Hey, I'm Sasha from Ohio Justice and Policy Center. I am calling in because I wanted to share a little bit about a policy that might be going into effect in Cincinnati related to no-knock warrants.
Okay, great. Hey, Sasha, welcome.
Thank you. So, OJPC, IRIS, Cincinnati Black United Front, a lot of local leaders, the leaders of the free world, we've all been talking about ways to make warrant execution procedures safer in our communities so we can protect lives and limit no-knock raids. And there is a motion that we'll hopefully be seeing coming down in our city hall brought by Council Member Seelbach that will limit when our officers can participate in any kind of no-knock raids, besides in instances if there's like an active shooter or a hostage or a kidnapping, unless you really need to sneak into a residence. That there are very limited situations where you can have a no-knock raid. And then the other part of it is to make sure that regular warrants, warrants that aren't no-knock, but just regular warrants, are executed in a safe way. So, for example, if they knock, they have to give a person a reasonable amount of time to come to the door. And even if nobody answers, they can still only forcibly enter in a very limited amount of settings. Because it's a very dangerous situation where you have this kind of forcible entry, like the situation you were talking about. A person may feel like there's a burglary happening, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great to hear. And I'm not surprised to hear there's good people in the city that's moving on this. I'm glad to hear it. And to me, Sasha, it's about the safety of citizens and also members of law enforcement. It puts them in a really bad situation, absolutely, especially in these days and times when so many people are on edge.
That's absolutely right. That's why we're hoping to do it. I think that really it's wider community safety. It's the officer safety. It's the safety of the people next door. I mean, it's incredibly dangerous and risky to come into a home in this way. And again, besides a situation where you're trying to break in and there's a hostage situation inside, there's very little reason to do it. There are safer alternatives to come in.
Well, thanks for that heads up. Now, you say this might come from Councilman Chris Seelbach's office?
That's right. Keep an eye out for it.
Okay, I will do.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Appreciate that, Sasha, calling in. Shout out to the leaders of the free world. I'm not surprised to hear it. And, when she said that, it kind of jogged some memories of some things that I was told already. So I ain't surprised to hear. Like I said, there's a lot of smart, intelligent people that's already about it. I want to do what I can to push it even more. We need those kind of safeties here in the city of Cincinnati, the state of Ohio, Hamilton County. Again, if they're serving so few no-knock warrants, like if it's only one or two a year or one or two every couple of years, then why take the risk? That's how I look at it. Some might say, well, hey, it happens so infrequently that it's not worth even talking about it. No, because all it takes is one time, my friends, for someone to get killed or to be maimed or seriously injured or to have a national incident. We don't need that in Cincinnati. Smart people look at what's happening in other cities and they say, could that happen here? That's what smart people do. Dumb people wait until it happens where you live and then you're behind it trying to catch up. A lot of smart, intelligent people here in the city of Cincinnati. Glad to hear it. But back to the tape. Drop says that it sounds fishy to him. I'm like, what sounds fishy? She and her male friends sound incredibly credible to me. They sound credible to me. If you missed it, I'll play it again about 9:05 a.m. Then I'll audio for you in about 8 minutes. If you missed that audio, you got to hear it for yourself. To me, she sounds scared out of her mind. And then as soon as she realized that it's sheriff deputy, she's like, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. What's going on? You can almost hear that she's kind of having this moment like, wait a minute. I thought this was a burglar. Now you're saying sheriff deputy. Why didn't they identify themselves? Oh, it must be the wrong house. That to me is another sign of an innocent person. That's what it is to me. I'm in the chop shop. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. It's the last month of 2020. How can a county judge place a person on city council? Yeah. I think the Republican Party got it wrong. And to me, it's another example of how little investment that the Republican Party really wants to make into black leadership. So now what happens is we have an imbalance, or we don't really have a true reflection of the diversity of city council on city council. To me, Cincinnati City Council should reflect, in terms of diversity, the city of Cincinnati. Right now, by any numbers you go to, the black population, the African-American population in Cincinnati is between 42 and 45%. Previous to these scandals, the corruption scandals, aka the nightmare on Elm Street, although Tamaya Denard had nothing to do with Elm Street as I understand it. That's where the project is on Elm Street that seems to be keep coming up in terms of these issues on city council. But previous to all of this, think about how many African Americans or black folks that we had representing us. We had Wendell Young, black male Democrat. That's one. We had Tamaya Denard, black female Democrat. That's two. We had Christopher Smitherman, black male independent. That's three. And we had Jeff Pastor, black male Republican. That's four. As my numbers, 4 out of 9 that's 45% in my head. So we were right at that reflection of black leadership diversity that we need. If you don't know, it was announced between yesterday's show and today's show, so within the last 24 hours, that the Republican Party, and this was the Republican Party, the decision was given to Ralph Winkler. Now let's think about Ralph Winkler. Who is that? That's probate court judge, right? Remember Pavon Parikh? Remember Pavon? Remember him? He came on the show at least once or twice, right? We did our part here to let people know that you do have a choice. He lost his race to Ralph Winkler, maybe his name recognition or whatever else. And who knew at that time that it would have larger implications at the city council? Who knew this? It just underscores just how much these judges really, really matter. So because of the way the laws are written, and there's no specific laws that have been passed by the citizens, and perhaps we should see something between now and then, I would say we should, that would dictate and give us a roadmap as to what should happen if there's a situation like what we've seen with Jeff Pastor, who, by the way, is innocent until proven guilty. I have to say that as a black man in America, too many of us have been railroaded for me to just jump on the bandwagon just because there's been charges. Now, it could completely happen today, tomorrow, where he cops a plea. And if that happens, the conversation, the flow changes. But until then, he is innocent until proven guilty. Same way I felt about Tamaya Denard, same way I feel about P.G. Sittenfeld. So previous to that, so what we found out is that every member of city council, when they are elected city council, they have to designate someone that will make the decision as to who will take their place if something happens. Now, that something happens could be a number of different things. Let's say they get into a tragic accident. God forbid, you don't want to hear that. Let's say that they laid up in the hospital, unconscious, caught up in a coma, or there's some kind of scandal and they have to leave council. So every council member decides who and designates who's going to do it. As I understand it, and it's been reported, Jeff Pastor designated Christopher Smitherman to make that decision. Then it was expressed that he wanted to change it. The problem that Jeff Pastor ran into is that he didn't have enough time, as I have been told and has been reported, that members of city council have to actually be present at a council session in order to do it officially. It makes sense because we now know that, if we didn't already know it, that everything they do has to be done in public. They just can't send an email like, you know what, I want to change who's going to make the decision if I'm no longer going to be on council. They have to actually do it officially and do it in person. Jeff Pastor, just because of the timeline, never showed up to another. He's never going to be at another city council meeting to this point unless he beats these charges. And then, as I understand, he can go back to council. He was suspended and now replaced by the Hamilton County Republican Party. In my opinion, they should have replaced him with a black person, a black male or female. That's just how I look at it. The voters voted on a black male Republican, and they should have replaced him with a black male Republican. When I believed, or when it was reported at that point that it was going to be Christopher Smitherman, I thought very strongly, and I thought, in my opinion, it was a question. I thought that Christopher Smitherman's blackness was on the call, was on the line. How black are you, Mr. Smitherman, as it relates to making a decision to choose who's going to succeed or replace, should I say, Jeff Pastor? Okay, but he doesn't have the decision. It was the Hamilton County Republican Party. You could say it was Ralph Winkler, it was Judge Winkler. Yeah, I'm sure it was him that actually vocalized it. You know, damn well the Republican Party was behind it. Why? Because the Republican Party just helped him get reelected. He owes them. He's a party guy. I'm sure that Alex T. and the other Republicans whispered into his ear and told Winkler exactly who to vote for. I'm sure they did. And he said, okay, great. I'm going to go with this because I need your help for this next election. Makes sense. But it also shows the lack of commitment to diversity that the Hamilton County Republican Party actually has. You know, you just, in terms of diversity of leadership or leadership diversity, you just push Cincinnati backwards, Hamilton County Republican Party. You just pushed us backwards. And I'm not saying that the man that they chose isn't qualified and all the yabba. I'm not saying all of that. I'm just telling you what my preference is. That's my preference. And I think that Jeff Pastor should have been replaced by a black male or female, preferably a black male or female millennial Republican. And you can't tell me that they're not out there because I know they're out there. And apparently the gentleman that they chose was on a short list. Like, his name came up to replace Amy Murray, but Amy Murray wanted a white female. Amy Murray wanted a female to succeed her. So think about that. So Amy Murray was allowed to think in demographics. She was allowed to choose her successor based upon demographics. I wouldn't be surprised if, quiet as kept, they wanted a white female. Now, they're not going to say white because they know it's like, oh, racism, oh, the specter of white supremacy. They're not going to do all of that. But it's been well documented and reported that Amy Murray put together a panel that included like herself and I think her husband and some other folks close to her, and that they wanted a female. So no men allowed. From what I understand, there was some bad feelings about that as well. Like, hey, what you mean female? How you going to just choose that? So I'm like, well, wait a minute. Everybody else can think about demographics. Why can't we? Why can't we? So we shall see. We shall see. So at this point, the individual that's taking the place of Jeff Pastor is just like a placeholder because we don't know what's going to happen with Jeff Pastor at this point. It's up in the air. We don't know yet. If Jeff Pastor actually cops a plea and or is found guilty, he's not going to be back on city council. And this gentleman is going to sit in his place and probably run for re-election. From what I understand, he's wanted to be on council for some time. But this was a clear-cut opportunity for the Hamilton County Republican Party to prove their commitment to diversity, and they didn't. The Hamilton County Republican Party has had two choices for city council in terms of replacement, and in both cases, they chose non-black people. I'm just saying. I'm just making these points. People ain't going to like them. I'll make this point anyway. But I do remember that when P.G. Sittenfield was tapped to replace Tamaya Denard, who did he replace her with? Jan Michelle McKerney, black female, who at this point everybody says it was a great pick. I'm just saying, people like to say ain't no difference between the parties. No, there is a difference between the parties. We've seen it right in front of you. There is a difference. I'm just saying. Amy Murray wanted a white female, in my opinion. I'm adding the white part to it. It's been well documented that she wanted a female, but I'm doing my talk radio thing. She wanted a white female to replace her, and she got it. Bessie Sunderman. Jeff Pastor, a black male Republican, should have been replaced with a black person, period. That's just me. That's just me. You might look at it differently. I'm standing how I feel about it. You got a problem with it? 513-873-7134. It's about diversity. It's about representation. The numbers don't match anymore. In terms of racial demographic, it doesn't match. It's not a true reflection of the city of Cincinnati anymore. You're talking about 45% of the population, and now we got what? 33% on council? That ain't right. And I blame the Hamilton County Republican Party straight up and down. They had two choices, and, they blew it. Or they did what they wanted to do. And you can't tell me there aren't qualified black men and women, Republicans, that they could have chosen. But they just don't care, period. They just don't care. Or maybe they're like, you know what, we ain't going to choose another black person because look at what Jeff did. Allegedly. What he allegedly did, and again, you're innocent until proven guilty in this country. I know people don't like to hear it. Everybody wants to jump on and talk about what they know is going to happen. Nobody really knows. It's just a whole bunch of qualified and unqualified opinions. That's it. And opinions is like an anus. Everybody got one. I think. Hopefully you do. I'm not sure what that would mean for you if you don't, bro. Can you say colostomy bag? I think that's how that works. I could be wrong. Stop me. But what do you think? That's just my opinion about it. I think the Hamilton County Republican Party had two shots. They showed us they don't care about black leadership diversity. Period. And now, in terms of racial representation on city council, the numbers don't match. 45% of the population, 33% representation on city council. Yeah, I'm breaking it down by race. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing it. Speaking of politics, I'm reading that Ohio Democratic Chairman David Pepper is leaving. He's stepping down now. And David Pepper don't like Nathan Ivey. The last time I saw David Pepper, it wasn't a good conversation. He was on some dumb ish. I can't remember what it was about, actually. I think I was trying to get at him about something that was going on. And he didn't really take too kindly of it. This was on the air. And then I was at a downtown mall. Remember Tower Place Mall downtown? This goes back years ago. I was at Tower Place Mall. I think I was at Radio Shack or something like that. They had a Radio Shack down there. I was at one of those stores. I ran into him, and basically he was on some get away from me kind of stuff. I can't remember what it was all about. I don't remember what it was all about with David Pepper. He's a sensitive man. He's very sensitive. I do remember he didn't take too kindly to it. It was something dumb he did. I was getting at him, getting his neck about. Wouldn't let it go. You know how I get. So he's stepping down as the role of party chairman. And I don't know. People have criticized his job performance. Well, when you're in leadership, you're open to that. Either you win or you lose. And when you lose, people are going to criticize you. And we'll have to wait and see. I'll be honest with you. I haven't really gone through the recent history of the moves that he's made or not. Like, we can't blame him because Joe Biden didn't aggressively spend money and go hard in Ohio. That ain't David Pepper's fault per se. But I do remember over the years, people have criticized, the job that he's done. I don't know. I'll leave it for people that's got more insight. I just want to report that to you since we're talking about local politics. I don't know. You tell me. Sean writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Sean. Anthony writes, morning, Choppers. Good morning to you, Anthony. Angela writes, good morning, Choppers. And Nathan, good morning to you. Maurice writes, glorious resurrection. Good morning to you. Yes, it is. Tanya's on YouTube. She writes, happy Tuesday, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Greg writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Glenn writes, morning, Nate and the Facebook Choppers. Hashtag powerfully authentic. Kimberly writes, happy Tuesday. Fame writes, good morning to everyone except Rachel Davis, Brent, and Daryl Erkins. Blessings to the rest. Oh, okay. Still got your little personal beefs, your petty beefs, I see. Dale writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Greg writes, I think there should be a federal law banning no-knock warrants in the entire USA, with possible exceptions for murder suspects who have skipped bail. Kara Mitchell writes, good morning, all. Tracy writes, good morning, everyone. I would even say with murder suspects, man. Anthony writes, no knock should only be used on high-profile and violent criminal elements, mafia, drug cartel, and organized gang types. Alicia writes, God's morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Janine writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Hold on one second. Getting a text message here. Oh, okay. Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will. I want to remind you, or bring to your attention, should I say, a brand new podcast live stream show that's coming to CDM. It's called Community Connections. It's hosted by Tiffany Daniels. Now, some of you on Facebook might know Tiffany. You might have seen her podcast. I think she does great work. She talks about wealth building and real estate, and very inspirational, very informative. To me, that's what time it is. And I'll give you more details throughout the week as to when and where you can hear her show on our CDM Facebook page. She's been doing great work. I'm very, very, very privileged to be working with her and pushing her brand forward and just helping her grow. And really, as I said, it's about amplifying Black voices. I'll show you some art throughout the week and let you know tomorrow when you can actually hear her show. But I want to make sure I put that out there so people know. You can find her on Facebook right now, Tiffany Daniels. She does great work. And again, very, very privileged to be working with her with CDM. And the saga continues. The mission continues. The mission continues. People have said, you know, we want a podcast that talks about finances. Well, you got it. Like I said, I'm in a lot of different lanes, quite honestly. One is there's a lot of good people out there already doing great stuff. I don't have to recreate the wheel. I just want to amplify what they do. And creating new podcasts with brand new voices and amplifying them, creating platforms for those individuals. And moving into some other areas, I'll be honest with you. For my patrons, again, I share a lot of this information with my patrons. They know much more intimate details. I'll be doing a patron video for you as well today on the first day of the month, giving you some more details. An epiphany came to me over the weekend. An epiphany. It came to me. You ever have like a business epiphany where you're sitting around thinking about things and boom, an idea hits you and you're like, oh, wow. I had that moment over the weekend. It was powerful. So there's an entire new lane that I want to move in as well. And again, for my patrons, I'll tell you more about it with today's podcast. I'll put that up probably after the Midday Juice podcast today with Ask Ashley. She's got a really, you talk about Midday Juice. She got a juicy question that she'll be dealing with today. Don't miss it at 1 p.m. You want to hear it, especially if you're on social media and Facebook. It's all intertwined. But I'll probably put that up at about 3. I got a call at 2:30. So her show ends probably about 1:30. Well, I say about 3:30. You can look for that video to my patrons. All right. And I'll give you more details. Greg writes, Birth of a Nation was first shown at the White House when Woodrow Wilson was president. That man knows his history. Good morning, Brother Nathan and the Choppers. Wear your mask. That's Woody. Good morning to you, Woody. Dion writes, nope. Maurice writes, I believe her. Come on, people. These racist white folks, crooked cops feel like they can do whatever they want to without repercussions. Yes, they do. Dion writes, most Black folks don't call the 911. I don't know if that's true or not, Dion. I mean, to my experience and knowledge, that's not true. That's not true. Black people, our neighborhoods have been the epicenter of crime. Black people work with the police. It may not be to the satisfaction of police investigators, but Black people call 911. Yes, they do. Black people work with the police. Yes, they do. It is a fallacy to say otherwise, in my humble experience. Tracy writes, I saw her interview and heard the call for 911. She didn't know who it was until they came in. You could hear her reaction. Tracy, I agree with you. Fame writes, Ben Crump picked up the case? Question mark. Them niggas going to jail for 30. I don't know if he picked up the case as an attorney or if he picked it up as a concerned person and is kind of amplifying it. Dion writes, I totally believe her. Me too. Woody writes, slave catchers at it again, right? Oh, man. Let me see. Maurice writes, she was whispering like she didn't want to let the person know she was calling for help. You can tell she didn't know it was the police. Right. I picked up on that as well. Like I said, let me play this for you one more time because there might be people who are in the stream right now. They're like, I want to hear the audio. Play the audio, Nate. Play the audio. So let me play this audio for you again. This audio is a 911 call that was made by a black female. You can see her image up right now. Her name is Diamonds with an S, Ford. She was at home. This happened down in Jacksonville, Florida. She was at home chilling late night next to her male friend or with her male friend. And she hears broken glass, feels like somebody's breaking into her home. She doesn't hear anybody say anything. She gets her weapon. She fires one shot. She didn't know it, but it was the SWAT team down in Jacksonville. And this is the call that she made. Let me make sure we're all queued up. Yes, we are. Check this out.
(911) 72 32 Rutledge Pearson Drive.
Hold on, ma'am. You said 7232. What's the name of the street? Ma'am, give me the name of the street.
72, please. 7232 Rutledge.
Rutledge?
Please hurry.
What's happening?
Someone's shooting. Somebody, please.
You said Rutledge Pearson Drive? Ma'am, I've already sent the call. I need to get more information. I've already sent the call.
Oh, God, bro. You finna die.
7232 Rutledge Pearson Drive, correct?
Yes.
Do you know who's shooting?
Oh, wait. What? Wait, that's the sheriff's office. Okay, hey, hold on, wait. Hold on, whoa. Come on, wait. What? Nothing. Wait, here. I'm opening the door. You got the wrong house.
Okay, and again, you can readily find this link. Just search for Diamonds Ford 911, and you'll come right up. If you want to, watch it later or something like that. I don't want to play all of it because the rest of it is just like a whole lot of just noise, not a whole lot you can ascertain from it. But that's the crux of it there at the beginning of it. The first, I'd say 2 minutes of it or so. But to me, she sounds totally credible. I don't believe that she knew. And listen, folks, if you support the mission to amplify Black voices, consider a donation via Cash App to help support this platform as we build it out more and more. I know a lot of folks are using Cash App. Perhaps you can make a one-time donation doing PayPal or perhaps become even a patron. That would be great. There's a link in the description today showing Facebook and YouTube, and you can do whatever you feel necessary, whatever your heart tells you to do. That's great. Appreciate you in advance. But back to what I said with Diamonds Ford, I think the woman is totally credible. To me, this is yet another example for the people out there making the case. And we heard a call earlier from a woman named Sasha, who is involved and in the know about what's happening here in the city of Cincinnati. She said, keep your eyes with Chris Silbach. He's working with some very concerned, good people here in the city of Cincinnati to push this forward. I ain't surprised to hear it. As soon as I heard her say it, it triggered a memory like, oh, okay, I think I've heard of this before. Yeah. And it's a lot of, see, smart people don't wait until the dumb ish hits their door. They learn from other people's mistakes. That's what smart people do. Smart people look and say, damn, I don't want that to happen here. Let's change first. Dumb people sit around, yabba dabba doing a whole bunch of dumb ish. And then they wait and get behind, the situation. Okay, please like and share today's show, family. It means everything. Back to your chat. I'm in the chop shop. Tony Rice sitting at the computer on the Nathan Ivey show to start. My 6-year-old son comes down the steps and gives the Usain Bolt pose and then wraps his arm around me and my neck. Vacations, gotta love them. Morning choppers, let's get it. Pay vacay it's just a beautiful creation. It is a beautiful creation. Who created pay vacation? Was that the unions? Shout out to the unions for that, man. You get a chance to get paid and stay home with your family. That's a beautiful. Listen, my son comes in and hugs me. I love it. I love that boy is strong too. I picked him up the other day. He's 5 years old. I'm like, wait a minute. I detect muscle growth. You know what I'm saying? When you see your kids developing nicely, it just warms your heart as a parent, doesn't it? That boy is going to be a problem on the court. I'm telling you. He's not ambidextrous, but his mother is left-handed. He's left-handed, so he does different things. It's very weird. He does certain things with his right hand and certain things with his left hand. God put him in good hands because I know just how to develop his b-ball skills if he goes that route. He's in good hands, boy. It's going to be nasty out there. What? Where's the ball at? We don't know. We don't know. Get ready. Get ready. That's going to be my fun and later in life, just watching him and my daughter develop. That's going to be my fun right there. Good morning to you. 513-873. They're like my little projects. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to look at kids. They're my projects, and they are both. She is developing nicely. Oh, my God. Where she is at 15, man, she is 1,000 miles away from where I was at 15. 1,000 miles away in terms of her development, her intelligence, her drive, way further than I was at 15. And I love it. I love it. That's my job. God gave them to me so I could shepherd them through this thing called life. And that's what I'm going to do. Into my dying breath. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Cassandra Rice, they playing with my Steelers. They keep moving the game around. I'm going to watch it work. I'm going to watch it at work, though. Oh, they changed the game? Is it today or something? Again, I don't know. Mason Marler writes, Steelers, ? Never heard of them. Y'all wrong. The Minister of Information writes, what's up, Nate? I'm home now in the 513. Good to hear, brother. Glad to know you safe. Tony writes, snowball fights going down after Zoom school, right? Cool, man. Me and my son going to do. He's like, can we just get the snowballs off the car? I'm like, okay. Snowball fights, kids love them. I used to love them. As the oldest, with my little brothers, you already know they were my little victims, my little targets. That's how it is. Big, older sibling rules. That's how it goes. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Cassandra writes, my daughter has been waiting for the snow since Friday. She woke me up at 5 this morning. Is that right? I'm laughing because I understand, Cassandra. My son don't give a damn about the time. That boy wake up like, Daddy, Mom, Daddy. We're like, and then as a parent, when you hear your kids calling, you think something's wrong. So you wake up, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. This boy talking about, can I get my tablet? I want to watch something. No, boy. She writes, she woke me up at 5 this morning after I went to sleep at 2:15 a.m. to tell me it was a lot of snow and she was ready to go. Hashtag pissed. I know, Cassandra. Listen, I already know. I'm laughing because that is so my son, man. 5-year-olds, they don't have no filter. They don't give a damn. They don't have no filter. That is hilarious. It's not just us, huh? That is hilarious. Gizzy Gillespie writes, Daniel Cameron is fighting the Kentucky governor about the decision of virtual schooling. Cameron says he will go to the SCOTUS if necessary. I really don't like that nigwa. Yeah, Cameron is playing the whole game out. I don't like him either, man. You know, I see him posting these videos talking about have a happy Halloween. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Not for the Breonna Taylor family. You ain't even care about getting justice for them, sitting there with his significant other with no damn facial hair. Tell me something. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. What the hell? Negro? Gizzy writes, you've got to be a special type of criminal to have the police seek a no-knock warrant of your home. Let's keep it a bean out here. Unless it's a mistake, as we've seen already, Gizzy. So let's keep it a bean out here. You acting like the police are infallible. They make mistakes. You acting like the process to get a no-knock warrant is always above board and righteous. That ain't true. What police department you talking about? Because the police departments that I know about, Gizzy, are people that are comprised of human beings, and therefore by their nature are very fallible and subject to making mistakes and subjects to doing all kinds of goofy things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes, you know, there's a history of members of law enforcement seeking these warrants and they lie to the judge. Judge don't know. The judge is like, hey, you know, I'm thinking everything you're telling me is the truth. We find out later with some BS. District attorneys like Daniel Cameron who come out and say that they did the right thing. And then the juries, the members of these secret grand juries come out and say, you know what? He's trying to lie to the people. So let's keep it a bean all the way around now. Whenever you're dealing with human beings, things are subject to go south. It is what it is. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, prolific, superlative, black-colored talk show host. How are you doing today?
Black-colored. I'm doing great, man. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, you know that boy Daniel Cameron is out here pressing the Kentucky governor about the making schools go online?
Yeah.
And he's talking about taking it to the damn Supreme Court.
Right.
But he fronted on Breonna Taylor. You know what I'm saying? That's the definite. You like to say buster. I've never really liked that word. I thought it was corny. But yeah, that's a buster move. You know what I'm saying? That's a complete. This dude, he Gilligan of the year by far. Not even close. Well, yeah, he is close. The three city councilmen. They would be close seconds. The three city councilmen, but that dude needs to. I can't say what I want to say on the radio here, but yeah, it's about time. Okay, for him. Anyway, when I hear you bragging about your son and his athletic prowess or just his size, you know what I can't help but think of? That scene in He Got Game where Denzel was talking about an outing with his son at the park. And he's like, man, you should have seen him flying. Boy, he almost dunked it. What? He almost dunked? No, he got the net. But I'm just saying, the net. But yeah, that scene. You remember that scene?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I just can't help but thinking of that. Like, okay, he think he got baby Kobe over there, and, but Godspeed to them. But the lady on the show, or not the lady on the show, the lady who's the topic of the title, the title art,
Diamonds Ford.
Yeah, she's clearly. I mean, the way she says, "What? You're the sheriff's office? Like, what the hell?" You know what I'm saying? I feel so sorry for her. This is sad. Like you said, and at the worst, her life's going to change for the next 6 months to a year, just going to court trying to get it out of there. That's going to cost her money because she, if they had the wrong house, whatever. I mean, this seems like to be a natural reaction. If you have a gun and you hear somebody coming in unannounced, you start busting. I would have done the same thing, but I think the boyfriend shot and she's covering for him. You know what I'm saying? I think he's the one that shot and she's just covering for him. Probably because she doesn't have the, it's an old game. A lot of cats with felonies or don't want to be, or want to live off the grid. They run stuff through their mom's name, their girl's name, whoever. And, so, everything might be in her name, but he's the one that, but if they were criminals, because you got to be a special type of individual to have the police want to do a no-knock warrant on you. And yes, that first scene in NWA Strata Compton, there's a tank coming down the street. Eazy-E's in there with the dude trying to make a deal. Then all of a sudden the battering ram hits the door, and you know what I'm saying, everybody scatters. You know, they start flushing stuff down the toilet. Eazy-E goes running over the buildings and whatnot. So that was actually that movie came out in 2015. That was the first time I ever heard of a no-knock warrant. And that not necessarily that's what they said it was, but apparently that's what it was. And they are very dangerous. They put cops' lives in danger, and the civilian if he tries to protect his home because he don't know who's the intruder. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you that there should be a ban on them nationally, but I doubt it'll ever happen. You know, the Congress, the lawmakers, the legislators, they have to do it. And most of them, they had these 5,000 a plate dinners. Who's the security? Off-duty cops. You know what I'm saying? Like they get on, like back when Jay-Z made 99 Problems, New York PD was all over him. Like, wait a minute, you use us as security and you're going to diss us? You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of a catch-22. It's a very, very, very sad situation what's happening with that lady, because it's clear in her voice that she's shocked and more likely innocent in all this. And my heart goes out to her and the dude that's with her. Like I said, if they're anywhere near innocent of whatever. So and get off of that. And lastly, there's a viral video going around of a restaurant owner in Dallas, black restaurant owner, who went off on all his black female patrons because they were twerking in his restaurant, twerking up on glass. And he was like, hey, I created this establishment, supposed to be kind of an upscale place, if I understand, like a black Tropicana's or the Precinct, if you will. And he's like, hey, I created this establishment so black people have a nice place to eat and go and blah, blah, blah. And y'all up here want to tear it down and whoop-de-whoop. I mean, he kind of went off on him, and everybody's saying like, oh, he just killed his restaurant. It's like, no, he's letting it be known he don't want that type of energy in his place. And so now that everybody knows he's in Dallas, anybody who's traveling, any black person who's within 2 hours of Dallas is going to make a point to go see him. So there is a contingent of black folks that are like, we tired of all the goofy stuff, all the goofy stuff, the unnecessary twerking, the loud, obnoxious behavior, but like I told you, classism will be the new racism in 2021. And all these little events like that are leading up to show that. But that's all I got, B. It's been a pleasure. It's been real. I had fun. Shout out to everybody except for those 3 haters. Actually, there's 4 now, I've just learned, that are on Facebook. And you see why I've been saying for 2 years, delete Facebook. It is a toxic app with toxic people. But I digress.
But you're on Facebook, and Twitter is no different.
Wait a minute. I'm on Facebook. Why?
Because you want to be.
Somebody asked me to. Somebody who I respect, support, and love asked me to continue my Facebook.
Yeah, whatever the reason, you on Facebook. You also on Twitter. Twitter's just as toxic. Social media is toxic. You got to take the good with the bad. You know that.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Actually, you do.
You don't. I don't have to have gay men insulting me.
If you get on Twitter or social media, any platform, gay, straight, trans are going to criticize you. Period. It comes with the territory.
I don't have to accept it though. It only happens on Facebook. Twitter is a liberal echo chamber who, let's be honest, a city council candidate insulted gays on there. That's all I'm saying. If you don't like what I'm saying, just keep it pushing. Because I don't mention nobody's name that isn't a public official. You know, if you're just a regular Facebook, Twitter user, I got nothing to say to you. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing that you have going on that I would be interested in. Your comments on the show or just your general posts. So don't try to play me like that, B.
Okay. Thanks for the call. I'm not even sure what we talk about no more. Appreciate it, Fave. Okay, B. But like I said, when you get on social media, you got to take the good with the bad. I did see that. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. And if you are listening via audio, you may not hear this, so I'm not going to keep playing it. I'll play it real quick. This video. I have not edited this, so I'll just give you a heads up. There could be some extreme language. I'll just give you a heads up on that. Could be some extreme language. Okay, I have not edited this, so I'll give you a couple of minutes. I'll leave you with not a couple of minutes, but I'll give you about 30 seconds so you can turn the volume down or put your earplugs in or go into another room. If there's any kids in the room or you're at work or whatever. But I want to hear this. I saw the headline of the video, but I never looked at it. This is the video that Fame is talking about. Let's roll this.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept so black people can have somewhere nice to go, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a, come on, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out of my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I mean, I look at it a couple of ways. Number one, that's his restaurant. He can set the rules and do what he want to do. I mean, PD period. It is what it is. I mean, that's his ish. And when you create something and you got something in mind, you can set the standard. Now, I think there's a way you can handle it. You know, I think there's a way you can handle it. We can go back and forth as to whether the way he spoke about it is the right way. But again, we all grown folks. He cursed a little bit, so get the F out. You know, it is what it is. If that's how he wants to run his restaurant, you go right ahead. What I would say in the future, though, he should put up a sign and say no twerking, things like that. You know, so that people know coming in the door what they getting. Do a lot of restaurants have no twerking policies? Okay. Would it be better if they was doing a line dance? So they would step in the name of love to the music of a pedophile. Would that be better? Does he not play R. Kelly in his restaurant? No pedophile music. I mean, I could slice and dice all of that, you know what I'm saying, just for the sake of the conversation. But, you know, my initial reaction is that's his restaurant. He can run the way he wants to. I do think that when you're dealing with patrons to a restaurant or any kind of business, there's a certain way you should approach it. But as a business owner, sometimes you don't know about issues until they actually happen. Like, oh, I had no idea that people was going to be twerking in my restaurant. I don't want that kind of restaurant. Is that classism? Yeah, I can see how people can make that argument. If I was in the restaurant, how would I feel about it? If I was in the restaurant that day, number one, I wouldn't be twerking because I'm a man and men don't twerk. That's number one. If I was with the wifey, she wouldn't be twerking in public like that either, per se. So again, like, let's say they was doing like the electric slide or he was doing a tick. Can you do the tick in his restaurant? Start doing the tick? I mean, again, that's that brother's restaurant. As a patron, somebody stands up and makes a statement like that, you got a choice to make. And the choice is, do you stay or do you leave? That's the choice. Do you stay or do you leave? So if people want to get up and leave, they should get up and leave. Don't patronize this restaurant. He said you don't need the money. Okay, you don't need my money. I'm out. I don't need my money. Again, why were people twerking? If you don't want people to twerk, then why are you playing twerk music? Play classical music. Play some jazz. You never see black people twerking to jazz. Play jazz. But you can't play Big Frida in your restaurant and then expect for people, pardon me, not to twerk. It comes along with it. So I heard some music in the background, and I'm like, well, B, if you don't want people to twerk, don't play twerk music. You know what I'm saying? People don't twerk to Nas. People twerk to twerk music, the certain kind of music that people like to twerk to. I'm just saying. Don't play the Yin Yang Twins and then tell people not to twerk. You know what I'm saying? You got control. When was the last time you was out and saw some people twerking to jazz? People don't twerk to Kenny G, if in fact you want to call that jazz. So, set the tone, black man, set the tone. People don't twerk to Kenny G, so don't play. So play Kenny G. When was the last time you seen black women twerking to Bach? They don't twerk to Bach. They don't. So set the tone, black man, set the tone. Don't play music in your restaurant. So don't play twerk music. Let me go back here and see again what kind of music his brother was playing. Was he playing twerk music?
I invested a lot of money in buying this building and to developing this concept so black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a one.
Right. He's like, stop the music because the music is undercutting my point. Stop the music, DeJuan. DeJuan might get fired. Like, you hear me talking? I don't know, man. I mean, I get it. Like, I guess he's looking at it like, if I let people twerk, then this is going to become a twerker-palooza up in here. I'm going to lose. This ain't what I wanted. He could have worse problems to deal with. At least he got people in his joint. There's people out there that ain't got nobody in their joint, right? Dion writes, the boyfriend in Florida was her fiance, not some dude, Nate. Okay. Nate played a video of the young man arrested at his home. Heartbreaking. What video was that, Daryl? Brent writes, she did the same thing that cops do. Shoot first, ask questions later. Damn, Brent. Graston writes, David Pepper quitting the ODP indicates to me he's considering a run for mayor. Really? David Pepper for mayor? Okay. I'm going to have to wait and see. That's interesting. Philosophy writes, LOL, cooking up crack, right. Some people think that all black people do is sit around scheming and coming up with crimes. No, we trying to live our African-American dream and raise our children and make a little money so we can go on vacay and chill. Let me see. Brent writes, no-knock warrants to give the police the ability to play weekend military warrior and get paid without tax dollars. Good morning to you. Alicia writes, sounds like the police shot first and announced themselves. Maurice writes, she let the police know she's opening the door. I thought I heard shots after she said, hold on. I'm opening the door. I heard a loud noise. I don't know if it was somebody trying to open the door, like banging the door, or if it was somebody fired a shot. Carmelita writes, Steelers play tonight. Really? Tuesday night? That seems unusual. That seems a little unusual. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nathan Great?
Hey, what's up, brother?
I can't call. It's your boy, Stefan, man. You got some haters on your Facebook page, man. I asked for the number because I ain't locked your number in to call in.
Uh-huh.
They're going to give me a 953 number. 4224.
Oh, that's my text. That's my personal cell number. That's so people can text me with tips and things like that. Yeah, but the call-in number is 513-873-7134.
Yeah, the ones that want to give me that number to call in, them are the ones was twerking in that restaurant.
Is that right?
them the ones was twerking. That's why they want to give me the number because they got busted. Huh?
Nah, I was doing some twerk music.
You silly. But anyway, they shouldn't be twerking with no food at any daggone way. Come on, man. You know what I mean? You eating your food, somebody that's twerking. Probably, I think that's a Glenn. The Glenn that be on your page, probably is Glenn twerking. Hey, brother, your bookshelf back there, is that a DVD or bookshelf?
Those are books. Yeah, no DVDs.
I like the book, brother. I use my X-ray vision, brother. I see you got a book in there called White Racism, Brewster, Police Justice, Bankers, and Reforming. You're a smart man over there, man.
Yeah, all good books, man. I read every book up there.
Yeah, I got right. Is them some of your books inside your bookcase?
Yeah. This is my home office. That's my bookcase back there. That's my personal book.
No. Did I name them? Was that the right book?
No, you did. Yeah, your eyes are very sharp. You're right. Those are the titles.
You gotta have 20/20 vision. But anyway, brother, hey man, check this out. Not to throw you off the radar about what you're talking about. I like to talk about that vaccine, man. How they rushed this thing out less than a year.
Well, go ahead.
For this vaccine. And like I say, 2020, I like this. I wrote this down. It said 2020, we only serve people with face masks. 2021, we only serve people with the COVID pass. 2022, we only serve the people with microchips. What is a COVID pass? It's the new digital health passport, powered by the revolutionary and patent V-coded AMV platform. Technology was developed by multi-award-winning British cybersecurity. So that's how they trying to play the people, brother, with all this nonsense they doing. Watch this. The New World Order COVID-19, but I call it COVID-20. It's called the Great Reset. A lockdown. It's going to end ownership, capitalism, all that. If they do a lockdown, it's going to kill the economy badly. That's like the mark of the beast, what they trying to do. Millions going to expect to lose their homes as COVID rage. See, they send out these stimulus packages for this COVID relief that they give it to these so-called groups. They going to get the money off pushing people to go get tested. Ain't no vaccine here yet. Come on, getting tested. See, they talk about the numbers of infection, but they don't talk about the numbers of the death. They don't do that. See, they get you so scared with the fear. See, this is a fear machine they doing, man, and nobody's not talking about it. Brother, it was a bishop. A bishop told his Catholic, Catholic people, do not take the COVID vaccine because it deals with aborted fetus in it. And I'm like, wow, that's deep. And brother, it's so sad. A Catholic bishop spoke about it, but none of our black ministers not speaking about this COVID vaccine. It's just like this, brother. If you get a shot, a COVID test shot, a COVID shot, we want a vaccine shot. So if you protected from the virus, so what the hell I need a vaccine shot for then? You protected, you won't catch it from me. So I don't need to get none then. You know? So we gotta really wake up, man. We getting how can I say, a smoke screen, banana in the tailpipe. Nobody's not telling the people what's really, really going on. Watch this, brother. Pfizer, they got they vaccine on the stock market, man. Pfizer, Moderna, Biotech, and another company, AstraZeneca, some old foreign company over there, Johnson & Johnson. They all coming on the stock market. That's not waking us up. Black folks, we was on the stock market at once in the 1702. We was on the stock market getting auctioned off. It sound like a slave mentality thing. Let's put them back on this ship. Matter of fact, the ship gonna be called the COVID ship this time. And it's sad though. It's really sad. But brother Nate, if I was a minister, brother, you know what I'll preach, brother? It'd be called the last ship. The last ship. You know the last slave ship that came to America? You ever know what that was, the name of that one?
No, I don't.
Well, I'll refresh your memory. It's called Cotillia. The last slave ship, Cotillia. It was coming from Africa. They kidnapped, they human trafficked black folks, brought them over here to Alabama. That's when the ship, the survivors got off. I looked at one of the survivors' video recording in 1930, 90 years later, 2018. That's when it recovered. I listened to that. You should go on YouTube and check it out, man, because it's like back to slavery. Because watch this. Back in what year was that? 17. I wrote this down, brother. In 1702, a law passed to prohibit slaves from gathering. Sound like COVID. Of a group of 3 or more. This was the city first slave market. Man, no, 1702 they put into law. The city council, they put into law that you cannot gather a group of 3 or more. I mean, it's the slave stuff again, man. We got to wake up from this, y'all. They rushing the vaccine here and try to put it on us so fast. It's shame. Any vaccine that needs to be shipped and stored at minus 80 degrees, it ain't no vaccine. It's a transmitted agent that is kept alive so it can affect your cells and transfer genetic materials that don't let them fool you. This is genetic. It's genetic stuff, man. That's going on, brother. It's real genetic what they doing to us, man. And we're not waking up, man. You know what I mean? It's like you just heard what I said. They tried this year. We get the mask this year. Next year we're gonna need a COVID pass to travel, or you can't get served. Then what? In 2003, 22, the mark of the beast, the chip. Then they said it in the Bible. I'll let you go on this one. Then they said that the mark of the beast, the microchip, in Revelation 13:16 through 18. It is also forced on all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive the mark on their right hand. Matter of fact, you're gonna get stuck in your left arm. So on their forehead. So you're gonna get a mark on your forehead. In verse 17, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the COVID-19 pass. It's sad. It is sad, man. It is really, really sad. We gotta wake up, man. But our own black community leaders, aka deal brokers, doing deals behind our backs, they getting some of this COVID relief money. The people gonna suffer from this, man. If they lock this down, they gonna be getting paid. The community gonna suffer once again. We keep suffering all the way around the corner, man. Off this. This is a cripple right here. People ain't even seeing it. They could have been stopped this, Brother Nate. They could have been stopped. They could have shut down football, shut down them bars. How you gonna shut down schools to open up the bars? It don't go together. You see You see DeWine, Mike DeWine doing a press conference yesterday, laughing at the lady. I'm like, look at this man with some purple glasses on with no mustache. How we gonna trust him? How we gonna trust him, man? He laughing at them people telling their story about the vaccine. Oh, it's so serious. Take this serious. Why ain't saying it ain't serious? It's just like, why we keep getting played with these games, man? I mean, it's so sad. You remember back in they had the Zika flu, the bird flu, the SARS. All this was supposed to kill us all. And now you got this COVID. Man, every 2 to 4 years, always something happen in America that the citizens always suffer from. And as the people, we really got to wake up, man. I ain't trying to get loud. I know to be said I'm on my bullhorn talking to you. But we really got to wake up, Nate the Great, because this is what they doing, man. These vaccine makers. How did one of the vaccine makers say he hoped this vaccine works? How you just bust out say that, brother? We hope this vaccine works. And it's sad. Everybody getting passed to the FDA getting passes, but we don't know the ingredients, what's inside this vaccine. Still don't know the ingredients, but they want to hurry and put it in you. Well, hold on. I'm going to let you go with this one. And that Russian guy, the President Putin, he said he's not taking the vaccine. He said, no, I'm not taking that. So on that note, brother, man, God is good, brother. You stay strong. You keep on being a father to them kids, brother.
You already know.
Kings and queens over there, brother.
Hey, thanks for the call.
And your books in there, brother.
I said, thanks for the call, brother. I appreciate you.
Anytime, brother. Thanks for listening, man. But we got to wake up about this vaccine, man. For real, man. This is a new millennium, what they trying to do. All right, brother.
All right, take it easy. That's Stefan right there. I appreciate the conversation. He said, how you going to trust this man with purple glasses and no mustache? Like, that's a bad combination, I guess. Yeah, DeWine was begging and pleading with Ohioans again. Begging and pleading with Ohioans do the same thing. I mean, I guess, man. I guess that's one way of dealing with it. You know me, I'm cut and dry on certain things. When it comes to COVID, cut and dry. Say the tears, say the whining and the complaining is what we got to do. Let's get it done. Good morning to you. That's my time. I'm out of here. Hey, coming up later today on CDM is Midday Juice with Ask Ashley. Very interesting question she received from one of her viewers that she'll be answering today. That's at 1 p.m. If you missed it, circle back around. You can check it out on our page. It'll also be on her page as well. All right. But watch it live and give your thoughts. There's a promo that's circling right now that gives you the full scope of what the question is. It might pique your interest. You might want to drop a comment or your thoughts about it before she starts the show. She might even use your comment. She might even. Again, you know, sometimes things happen in life and you need an objective viewpoint where you can't ask your family and you can't ask your friends, but you can't ask Ashley. All right. One Ask Ashley. That's with 2 E's, ASHLEE@gmail.com. And of course, you can always remain anonymous. Most people do. It's rare when somebody gives their real name. They'll give like a name that's, I don't know, like it's got something to do with what their issue is. So, all right, listen, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. That is my time. I got to make a move. A lot of things are happening today. Want to make sure I'm up and prepared. I'll be back with you bright and early tomorrow. Now, we got the show started late today, but I do not plan on being late with you tomorrow. I do have to leave before 10 a.m. tomorrow. I got some things going on that I must attend. But again, if you want to connect with me on a personal tip, if you got a tip, speaking of which, on a story, something that's happening, you can always text me. My text number is actually in today's description. If you just want to support our mission with a donation, you can do it. You can Cash App Nathan Ivy Show. Again, it's Nathan Ivy Show, but again, I'm just building for CDM and building the mission to amplify Black voices. And so perhaps that could be an avenue for your support. All right. If you want to connect with me anywhere on social media, anything I'm doing, you can hit me. My link is in the description of today's show on Facebook and YouTube. I'll say it again. Viva La Chapas. Thank you for being here. I'm very accessible. You can always hit me up on Facebook and many more things to come. As I said earlier, a brand new live stream podcast is coming to CDM very, very soon as next week. It's called Community Connections. It's hosted by Tiffany Daniels. A lot of folks might know her. She primarily has been focusing on real estate, but in general, I look at her show as wealth building. That is the lane that she's in. She'll be talking about cryptocurrency. She'll be talking with newsmakers, people that are doing big things and have things to share, you know, in that avenue on her podcast coming to CDM next week. Looking forward to it. I'll share the cover art with you and give you more details to my patrons later on today. It'll probably be about 3:30, 4 p.m. Kind of look for that then. And again, throughout the week as well. So you can follow Tiffany on Facebook right now. Sometimes you'll see her in the Chop Shop. And, you know, we're just getting started. Much more to come. So again, have an excellent rest of your Tuesday. Be safe out there, family. I wish the best for you and your family, 100%. And we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivy. And as always, I'm out.
The Nathan Ivy Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivy Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Yeah, talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again.
Again, like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem, it's nothing. In the discussion, for the feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all my spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, oh shit.